Hi, it's Gary. Well, welcome to today's video. Today I've got my first impressions of the TWSBI Swipe here in this box. What we're going to do, we'll take it out of the box, take a look at the pen, do a quick size comparison, fill it with ink, I'll do a writing sample, then I'll give you my thoughts and my first impressions on this pen. Welcome down to the table. So here we've got the box for today's pen. So obviously it's a TWSBI. It's a TWSBI Swipe with a medium nib. Over the back here we've got a little bit of information with what's in here. So we've got a fountain pen, a converter, a spring converter that is, and an ink cartridge. Let's take the box out. It just slides out. Nice plain white box. There we go. TWSBI there. I think that should be the top. So let's open this up. Now, the pen was in this wrapper. I've already taken the pen out because I like to give them a good clean before I use them for the first time. So that's the only reason that it's out of the wrapper. Then in the box, obviously there was the pen. We've got in here a little package. What have we got? Let's open this up. Oh, it doesn't want to open. Wow, that was on tight. So in here, I've got a spare spring. And I've got a cartridge. And then we've got this little tiny instructions. Optional use with cartridge, not needed during normal use. And then I'm guessing, is that some form of Chinese or the Taiwanese language? So let's go back here. Let's close this up, pop that to one side. So here we've got the TWSBI Swipe. I went for the smoke version. So here we have it. We've got, I do like the look of the clip. Let's take a walk through the body. Starting at the top, here we've got that TWSBI logo, the ever-present TWSBI logo. Fairly flat top, slight dome there where we've got the logo. We come down into the cap. So the cap, same width all the way down. The bottom of the cap here is where that smoke ends. And then we've got the clip. As I've already said, this clip quite unusual looking. Extremely stiff. I can't even shift that. So I don't really think it's a clip designed for use, but it just makes a little bit of a statement, doesn't it? Bottom of the cap, tiny drop down. Then we've got a little bit of transparency. We can actually see the spring through there. Then we go back to that smoke material. About maybe a centimetre. Then we start to taper in ever so slightly till we get to the end, which is a hexagon shape. So it's not a round body. Not sure if I can capture this on the camera. There we go. So you see we've got little facets there on the body. The cap, it just pulls off. That reveals this nice plastic section. I like to be able to see through the section. So that being transparent is quite nice. And then we've got the TWSBI nib. The nib, just a standard looking TWSBI nib. I'm thinking I should be able to swap this with some nibs in my Ecos possibly. Something I may try at a later time. So we've just got there an all steel nib. We've got a nice border. We've got the TWSBI logo and the word TWSBI. The body, that unscrews from here. Now we can see we've got the converter in here, and this is a new style converter for me. So it's a pump action, it's a spring one. So to load it up, I would dip the pen in the ink and then pump this, and that would then in turn suck the ink up. I believe in the US it also comes with a more standard screw style converter as well, but outside of the US it's just that spring one. Let's swap on over and we'll do some size comparisons. I brought in my two standard size comparisons. We've got the Pilot Metropolitan and the Lamy Safari. All three pens to me look very much in terms of length. The TWSBI is a little bit wider than I'm seeing with the Metropolitan, but roughly the same width as with the Lamy. Let's pop the caps off. With the caps off, the Pilot and the TWSBI roughly the same length, with the Lamy, that definitely looks a tiny bit bigger, maybe 0.5 centimetre, so 5mm-ish longer. The nibs all roughly the same size, aren't they? What's it like in the hand? In the hand, it fits quite well. Section feels a little tiny bit on the thin side, but I find that with a number of TWSBI pens. Unposted, yeah, it's nice. It's very light. If I post it, and this time with the right cap, it will post. It posts, yeah, not too bad. That's about 2 centimetres on there. Does feel a bit long, but it doesn't feel back heavy, but it's a very light pen. Unposted though, I can see that being how I use this. Let's get these out of the way and we'll fill the pen with ink. I brought in my ink miser. Going to be interesting to fill this because I've not got a lot of this ink left. This is Diamine Spiced Apple, and this is a chameleon ink. And in previous pens I've had it in, we're seeing loads of that gorgeous chameleon coming through. So let's give this a good agitation. There we go. So that should all now be in suspension. We'll quickly fill the ink miser. As you can see, that's all the ink that's left. Not going to use it all, obviously. And now to fill the pen. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to try and have this on an angle. So hopefully, if I move this down a bit, we can see the ink going in. Yep, that's gone right in. We've about half filled it. So I'm going to eject that. You can see that bubbling away. And then, actually not much more there. But that's enough for what we want today. Just let me clear this off. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. It's now time for the writing sample. Here we've got the notepad of testing. This is a Rhodia notepad, A5 plain paper. Just turn it on its side, just makes it easier for me. So we've got here a TWSBI Swipe. So the nib does feel a bit stiff, but I find that with most of my TWSBI pens. It's got a medium nib. Price wise, you're looking roughly 500. God, and Bennett, that'd be expensive. You're looking roughly 50 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine, and it's Spiced Apple. Very nice looking ink. Drying times, so we go, oops, if I can avoid knocking it and dabbing, getting it all over my paper. Let me just, so that's something I'll have to watch out for. We had a little bit of ink splat in there. So drying times, we got immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. After a minute, still getting a teeny tiny bit of a smudge, but it's not worth doing a 2-minute test. Let's move up a little bit. What we'll do now is we'll look and see if we can find any line variation. So here's going down. That was with no pressure. Now I'm going to add a tiny bit of pressure. So we do get a slightly wider line, but not by much. So no pressure with, none, and with. Teeniest, tiniest bit of character coming through there. And I'm not putting too much pressure on here. As I say, the nib does feel quite stiff. Then I move the mic down to the page so you can hear the pen write. Very quiet pen, can hardly hear a thing there. And then my scribbles. And then going the other direction. Quite nice, quite enjoy that. Just take a quick look at this ink and see that chameleon coming through. We have got this beautiful gold chameleon there. Absolutely stunning, really looks nice. I find this ink works really well regardless of the pen that I put it in. So what are my thoughts, my first impressions of this pen? This is a pen I've long held off from buying. A number of people have said to me, Gary, you need to get one, but I kept putting it off and putting it off because I don't know what it is. It's just something about the way it looks which doesn't grab me. But I thought in the end, let's bite the bullet and get one. I'm actually quite pleased I did. In real life, it does look better than what I've seen on videos. This is a problem. Cameras can only do so much. It's very light. I need to do a showdown with this against the Eco at some time, but I would say it's similar in weight to the Eco. In fact, the Eco, I'm going to fetch one in. The Eco may be ever so slightly heavier. I like the fact that we've got the converter and also the cartridge. I do wish it had come with that screw converter though, but I don't know. I think I'll get used to that using that pump one. There we go. We can even here see the ink level, so that's going to be handy. It's comfortable to use, a bit on the thin side for me, but that's a very personal thing. The line it puts down looks very nice. We get some nice character coming through. All in all, for a $50 pen, it's not bad value. So they're my first impressions of the TWSBI Swipe with Diamine Spiced Apple. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. So what do you think of the TWSBI Swipe? Not sure about that converter yet, I still need to play around with it. But still, enjoyable pen, and for the cost, not bad value. Please drop your comments down below, let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button, every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.